Bal Vigyan Bharati with your own mentor Abhilash Sarkar. As you know, we are moving on to the problem of time, speed and distance. We have reached till 32. Now we'll move on to the problem number 33. I am taking less time to introduce again and again because you know always I have to concentrate on the problem first. The car A trails car B by 50 meter. Car B travels at 45 kilometer per hour. At 45 kilometer per hour, car C travels from the opposite direction at 54 kilometer per hour. Fine. Car C is at a distance of 220 meter from car B. If car A decides to overcome car B before car B and car C cross each other, what is the minimum speed at which car A must travel? Okay, fine. So the solution will be the car A trails car B. So that means car is here, car B is there, car B, it is car A, and their distance is 50. They are moving in the same direction. Car C travels from opposite direction. Here it is the position of car. He is moving in the opposite direction. Cars at 54 kmph and car B travels at 45 kmph. Fine. Car C is at a distance of 220 from B. So B and this has having 220 meter. If car A decides to overtake, car A is in the same direction, so he is definitely can overtake B if he is having more speed. I am assuming it is car A speed is A must be more than this B speed, then he will overtake. The condition is that he decides to overcome because before car B and C cross each other. So cross each other means they has to meet some point, so they will meet. Let's say I am assuming this is after X distance they are meeting each other. Okay, so car A by that time they meet each other in the same time, car A must move this plus this distance. This is the concept of that. Then only car A can overtake B. For the time for which B and A can reach at a meeting point, in that same time A car must move. So this is the overall concept of this system. So my first task has to be to find the time when car B and C is meeting. So time taken for B to meet C, I am writing it this way to understand. Time for B to meet C is what? Distance upon the relative speed, isn't it? Because why I am saying relative speed, when they are moving the same direction, the speed, relative speed will be deducted, and if they are traveling some distance, the effective speed will be the difference of the speed, when I will divide d, that will be the time when the total distance, means the relative velocity will help to cover the distance, because more they move, the difference of their distance will increase, and if they has to move the total distance, and by that time how much lead they can get, that I have to calculate with the time when they will move a certain distance. If they are in the same direction, then has to be the speed has to be deducted. In the same case, when they are moving the same direction, they are contributing their speed to move the total distance. If I say this is v to v and u, and they are meeting at some point, they will take t time. So v into t plus u into t will be the total distance. V velocity into time, velocity into time will give you the total distance. This total distance is nothing but the distance traversed by this L1 and L2. This is nothing but L1 plus L2. So this is the concept where if I add v plus u into t will give you the same distance L. What is that? T can be taken common, v plus u will be, so average speed into the time is equal to length. So time is equal to what? The distance divided by the relative velocity. Here velocity, the relative velocity among the different body, if they are moving the same direction, in the opposite direction, will be added on the same concept. The relative velocity has to be used there to cover a same distance. Now it is 220, the distance between this B and C, by their relative velocity, that means this plus this, 54 plus 45, but this is in kilometer per hour, but this is in meter. I have to convert it in meter per second at least. So this is equal to, this will be cancelled out again. So 22 into 36 upon 54, this is 9, this is 9, 99, 11 2, 11 9, 9 4, that is equal to 8. So 8 will be the time in second they will meet this much. So in 8 seconds A has to move 50 plus x distance. But what is x? X can be easily calculated, because x is equal to the speed of B into the time taken to meet. So this is x is equal to what? 45 into second, that means 45 to convert it into meter per second. 45 into 1000 by 3600, 45 4 9 5 9 4, this is 2 2 2 5 20 12.5 meter. This will be the meter. So x, so what distance A will move? 50 plus 12.5, that means 62.5 will A move in what time? In the same time they meet each other, in the same time he has to move. So what is his maximum speed? Has to be there, 62.5 by 8. This is the distance he has to cover in what time? In 8 seconds. So this will be the case. The maximum speed is equal to 62.5 by 8. Now 62.5 by 8, and that I have to convert it into again in kilometer per hour, because everything is kilometer per hour. That has to be multiplied with 3600, just opposite to the earlier case. This is equal to 18 by 5. So 18 by 5, now I will not calculate, rather 4 is a 40, and this is equal to, if I calculate by 2 9 2 20 2, so how much it is? 62.5 into 9, 45, 4, 9 to the 8, 22, 2, 9, 54 to 56.562 point, this decimal divided by 2, that means is equal to 281.75, and decimal will be there. So this will be the velocity kilometer per hour for the maximum speed that has to attain by A, but that is less than B. How it is coming? So distance is 50 plus this x is, I am getting it. Let me check the calculation once. So I am getting this is 8 seconds. So 8 seconds means that x is equal to 45 into 5 by 18, the conversion into 8. So that is equal to 8, 4, 2, 9, 5, 5 is the 25. 25 into 4, 100. Sorry, this will be 100. Now the distance that A has to cover is equal to 50 plus 100. Sorry, that is equal to 150. I have made some mistake there, I suppose. So 150, the speed has to be 150 by 8. That means equal to, and that has to be converted into kilometer per hour. Has to be multiplied this 4, 2, 9, 5, 3 is a 4, 2, 2 is a 15. So 15 into 9 is equal to 45, 1, 9, 135 by 2. That is equal to 62.6 to the 12, 6 to the 12, 7, 14, 5. This will be the kilometer per hour speed for A. Okay, so this is more than B, so now it is satisfying. Okay, moving to the next problem, 34. A and B stand at a distant point, stand at now this is problem number 34. It says A and B stand at distinct point A and B stand at distinct point of a circular race track of length 120 meter. They run at speeds of A and B meter per second, okay, respectively. They met for the first time. 16 seconds after starting of the race. And for second time 40 seconds after the starting of the race. Now, if B had started in opposite direction to the one he had originally started, they would have met for first time 40 seconds if B is quicker than A, find B speed. A and B are integer. Okay. So now A or B are rotating, are on a circular track. A or B are in a distinct position. We don't know what is the position of them. They run the speed of A and B. A's velocity is A, speed is A, this is B speed B, meter per second. They met for the first time at 16 seconds. Now, initially it is not said in which direction they are moving. So, there is no option. If I assume that A and B are moving in the same direction, let's say I don't assume at all. So they are meeting at 0.16 second for first time, and in the same way, while moving in the same way, they are second time they are moving with they are meeting at after 40 seconds. The first meet at 16 seconds, second meet at 40 seconds. So in between, let's say they are moving in same direction or opposite direction. For first meet to second meet, the cumulative distance or the relative distance, you can say, traveled by A and B will be the distance is equal to the total lap of the track, because if first meet, this is second meet. So one will move from this hub to this hub, one should meet to this hub to this, all total together it will be a total circle. So in between this time, whatever distance they will move cumulatively will be the distance traveled by them with their relative speed. So the distance of the track is 120, it is said 120 meter. Now if the time taken is in between is 40 and 20, 14 and 16 is in between time is 40 minus 16 if I do, so that is the time. So this will give the relative velocity, so that is equal to 5 relative velocity meter per second I am getting, but still I don't know which way they are moving. Fine. In the second case, B is changing its direction, and due to that it is taking for first meet. For second case the time taken for first meet is 40 seconds. That means if for the first case it is taking 16 seconds to meet for the first time from their initial position, and for second case their from the initial position they are taking more time, then we can conclude, because the time is what? It is the distance traveled by the relative distance by the relative speed. Now, when time is more, that means the denominator is more, because the relative distance for the second case cannot be more than the relative distance for the first case. Why I am saying, between this time 16 second and 40 second, the relative distance they will travel the whole length of the track, whereas in second case the relative distance is what, their initial position, the difference between their initial position. So either you measure it this way or that way, that cannot be more than a lap of the track. So that relative distance is already less than 120, and further the time taking is more, so this has to be further lesser value. Okay, so that means the relative velocity for this case must be less than this case. So there are two possibilities of relative velocity. One is a plus b, the resultant of their, or the difference between their speed, the addition to the speed, and this is the only two options. So among them this is the lesser. So we can say, conclude that first case, as the time taken is less to cover the relative distance of one lap, which is lesser than the, which is higher than the second case, then the first case they must move in opposite direction, because we have to be, denominator has to be more, so denominator has to be more in between that, this is the case. So we can conclude that this value is nothing but a plus b. Fine, the first case is over. We can conclude that the first case, your relative velocity is equal to a plus b, and that value we have calculated by 120 by the time lap is equal to 5. So this is the first equation. For second case, now I have to establish the position of them, the relative position. The relative position is that they meet at the first meet is for after 16 second, and their relative velocity for first case is 5. So if they are meeting after 16 seconds, so the distance, the relative distance, rather relative distance traveled before first meet in case 1 is equal to what? The relative velocity into the time. The relative velocity is 5 into the time is 16, that is equal to 80 meter. So this distance is 80 meter. So what is the other distance? 40. Now we have already established they are moving in the opposite direction. Now if B changes for second case the direction, so that means B is chasing A, and this case the relative, if you chasing A and they meet for the first time, so what is the case for the second time? Now you understand, this is 80, so otherwise 40, that is being calculated. For second case, the relative velocity, case 2, the relative speed rather is what? B minus A. Why? That B is higher than A, the velocity of B is higher than A, this is equal to the case, and the relative distance that has to be covered to catch for the first time is what? 40 meter. Because if they can cover this, B can cover this distance, initial distance, then only he can catch A. So the time by which he will catch is 40 by B minus A, and that time is what? This time is 40 seconds they said. So T is equal to 40 already said. So what is B minus A in this case? 40 by 40, that means equal to 1. So this is your second equation. So from these two, the first equation is B plus A is equal to 5 and B minus A is equal to 1 from the second case. So now if you solve it, 2B is equal to 6 and B is equal to 3. as b is equal to higher than a, so b's velocity is, this is meter per second, this is your answer. Okay, understood? So I will move on to the number 35 in next class. Now I am ending this session and I will move on to the number 35 in the next class. So I need your feedback because these are being very much you can say not a regular problem that I am discussing. Initially I have discussed all the regular problems that anyhow you can get it in your regular academic lessons, but this kind of problem you won't get in the regular, but still I am just discussing as because that will enrich your knowledge and that will give you some extra words or extra means capability to solve the tougher problem. So that's what I'm discussing. But go through this. These are very interesting problem. If you can even understand after my means analysis or explanation, that is enough for you to solve the tougher problem. Okay, so kindly go through there, and I need your honest feedback. How do you rate my classes, whether you are liking or disliking. Kindly give your feedback. So on that note, I hope you will come back to me, and I have given you some task in the previous lessons. Kindly try to solve those problems and send your solution in comment box. I will be very happy. Thank you.